Page 70, praise him with music. It's the last page in the book. So if you've made it this far, congratulations. You'll be ready to go on to the next book. Once you can play this piece, don't rush it. Now there's a review on the next page, and I'm going to cover that also in this video. So if you don't want me to give you the answers, I'll tell you when to stop the video, because I'll give you a warning, because I'm about to give you all the answers to those things on the review. Now for this, again, it's just a review of what we've had before. We got half notes and quarter notes, and also quarter rests. You got more quarter rests in here now. Look at the second measure. You have 1, 2, 3, 4. So on beats 2 and 4, you're up. So there's rests about, and then you got the intervals in there too. You see in the third measure, the left hand, you have the F and the G, and then the E and the G. Again, I'm putting my hand in the position, I'm dropping the hand. Even when I change notes like that, I just lifting whichever fingers I need out of the way, and I'm dropping the hand on these things each time. I got a little problem with what they're doing, and later on I'm sure they'll change it. But I think it's confusing, and I want to point it out. At the beginning of this, you have that F at the that means forte or loud, and it's in between the staves. That's where it belongs. But then if you look at the third measure over, when the left hand comes in, they have another F below the staff. That F, in my opinion, should not be there. It just, no. When the staves are connected with these vertical bars, and the bars go all the way through both staves, it connects the staves together. That tells you you're playing the staves at the same time. Well, in piano music, when we do that, they put the dynamic in between them, and it applies to everything in both staves. And you have to know how to apply it to the notes and so forth, because all the notes may not be that dynamic. And I'll get it more into that in the next book. Something to look forward to, huh? So they have the F there, that's fine, but it doesn't need to be there. You're still going to be loud anyway. Let's try this together slowly. I'll give us 4 counts. You're still in C position, and it's repeated, so we're going to play it twice. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Repeat. Rest, rest, 2, rest, rest, 2, rest, rest, 2, rest, rest, done. There's a duet at the bottom of the page. I'd like to play that with you. But as usual, I need you to go up an octave on the keyboard. So just pretend middle C is up here an octave higher, and you put your hands up here and play the whole thing up here. And we will play it twice because it's repeated. So I'll give us 4 counts. Let's play it together. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3. Now, for the review that's on page 71. Again, if you're going to do this in a class or something and you don't want that, then don't watch the rest of the video, because I'm about to give you all the answers. Number one, they list 4 different kinds of notes on here. They ask you what it means and what it gets. We got a problem with that, but I'll explain. The first note is a quarter note. That's the name of the note. It's a quarter note. And it gets how many counts? Well, it depends on the time signature, but the only time signatures you've had so far are 4/4 and 3/4. So we're going to stick with that. We're just going to pretend it's 4/4 time, and in that case the quarter note gets 1 count at 4/4. The second note shown is a half note. Half is open circle with a stem, it's half note. It gets 2 counts. It's the same as 2 quarter notes tied together, 2 quarter notes. The third one is a half note with a dot, and that's called a dotted half note, and that gets 3 counts, because the half note gets 2 and the dot gets 1. You stick them together, it's 3 total. That's the way it works. I'll explain more about dots later on, but right now a dotted half note gets 3 counts in 4/4 time, or 3/4 time, whichever. The last note shown is that circle, and that is a whole note, and that gets 4 counts. It's the same as 4 quarter notes. Number 2, how many beats are in each measure of 4/4 time? That's, which number tells you what? Well, the top number tells you how far you got to count. That's what it keeps saying. Well, that's how many beats in a measure, because that's how far you got to count. So in 4/4 time, you're counting to 4. So there's 4 beats in a measure. Then it says what kind of note gets 1 beat. Well, that's the bottom number, and a 4 represents quarter notes, so you're counting quarter notes. You got to know what you're counting if you're going to count something, I guess. Number 3, how many beats are in each measure of 3/4 time? Again, the top note tells you how far you got to count, and that means how many beats in a measure, same way. It means 3. 3 beats in a measure, or you only got to count to 3, because you're going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then you just keep repeating that. What kind of note gets 1 beat? And again, the bottom number is that, and that's quarter note, 4 for quarter note. Later on, these numbers are going to change to other things. Number 4, they show a sign. This is a what kind of clef sign? And it is a treble clef sign. It comes from the letter, what letter cousin? It's also known as a G clef. So it's the letter G. Then they also show the other clef sign, and they say, what is this? It is a bass clef. That's usually found in the bottom staff. Doesn't have to be, but it is here. And it comes from the letter F. It is an F clef. So the treble clef is known as a G clef because it points out where the G line is, the G note, note G, is on the staff. And the bass clef is also known as an F clef because it shows where the F note is on the staff. Number 5, these notes are slurred or tied. Play them. And what it is got a bunch of notes with this big long curved line under them. And the answer is they are slurred, and you play them evenly, or connected, I should say. You can't play them evenly, but you can play them connected. I'm not going to play them. I'm too lazy for that. Then it says these notes are slurred or tied, play them, and it shows 2 C's connected with a curved line, and that means they are tied together. Not going to play it, but you'd play the first C and you just hold it down for the length of both, is the way it works. Number 6, write the meaning of each of the following dynamic signs. First one is a P, the letter P. That stands for piano or soft. Next one is an F, the letter F. It stands for forte or loud. And the next one is an MF, and that stands for mezzo forte or moderately loud, or medium loud, or sort of loud, or whatever. Number 7, what does this sign mean? And it's got the 2 bar lines, the thin and thick bar line with the dots. And that is a repeat sign. It means go back to the beginning and play it all again. Now, we're going to adjust that definition a little later on, but right now, go back to the beginning and play it all again. Number 8, rests are signs of, I think they're after silence, because when you play a rest, you have to be quiet. Rest means be quiet for that length of time. And it gives that squiggly rest, the only rest we've had so far, and that is a value of, or it gives a sign and it says means rest for the value of what kind of note? Well, it's a quarter rest, so it corresponds to a quarter note. Every note gets its corresponding rest, so to speak. And that's the review, and congratulations, you finished the page. And the book. Whatever. So you're ready to go to the next book, assuming you can play the pieces smoothly and evenly. Now, if you've only been through the book once and you don't have a teacher, I would encourage you to go back through the book again and review everything and watch all the videos to make sure you've got everything there, because I point out things in different videos however I think of them. So, well, I know this one, so I'm not going to bother with a video. I may have said something in that video in addition to what's there, just because I happen to think of it at the time. I do that. I'm tricky that way. You know. But that's that.